Like we have one piece of content. I think it generated 20 leads for us last year. Yeah, man. How? What time is it over there?
It's 10 p.m.
Perfect.
It's
It's
perfect
7
time to
a.m.
work.
Yeah, for sure.
You have a nice website flow. I see when you call the number, you're going to a system, you got to press a number. Is it like a systematized agency or is it like a normal office? Or how did you set this up?
Yeah, it's a grasshopper .com,
Yeah.
and it lets us send out. So if I don't answer, it'll quickly get redirected to the next person.
Okay.
So it's actually goes to my cell phone.
That makes
And
sense.
then, yeah, and then it's just good. We're on the move so much that, like, you know, it's if I'm in Toronto or if I'm in Florida or right now I'm at my mom's house for Christmas holidays. So it's like you get to see the different. I still get the calls, right? They come through, which really really helps.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having time here while you're on obviously holidays.
Working holiday. It never.
I scheduled the meeting for I think 15 minutes in the system, and if you want to, we can stick to it. But my experience is it might be up to half an hour just to get a
Yeah,
bit more
no
conversation.
worries.
Cool.
No worries though.
Awesome. I'm doing these interviews because I'm genuinely interested in lead generation. I run a very small content consulting operation myself. Well, I wanted to find out how other people do it and also share with them the interviews from other business owners. So ideally, when we're done with the interview, and I have done some more, yesterday was a pretty good one, I would send you over the complete files. So you, if you want, you can look into that and learn from how other people do it.
Cool. Yeah, cool. That sounds good.
So yeah, let's start with what are you actually doing? Like I see it's a marketing agency. I see where it's based. This is all I get from the website. But maybe you introduce it a bit in your own words.
Yeah. So, I mean, we started off as we actually owned a magazine at first. And we started with an online magazine. And I started this in college with the guy that I was playing football with. And we just through trial and error a bunch of times, we were able to generate a ton of buzz and content. So we ended up driving this thing relatively quickly with no experience to over 1 million page views. And we were like, okay, this is, we have a Facebook page, we have all these things and everything is kind of, people are looking at it. And then a business approached us and said, could you do this for us? And I was like, yeah, I think we could. And we started doing it at making content, but then also taking that content and actually distributing it and going out, emailing influencers, making sure that it was getting reposted because so many blog posts just go up and then die, right? No eyeballs on it, anything. So we started doing this for businesses and more specifically, boring businesses. And it was something where we said, let's pivot and let's really hone our skills. So we started to learn about everything. I went just like crazy learning about SEO and content creation and what we have to do. And I mean, since then now we're at 3 offices. And our primary goal is just to make companies not boring online and to do that through matching whatever content type is going to resonate with their target demographic. If we're selling to, if we're a retail store selling to 15 to 23-year-olds, we're going to be on Instagram and Snapchat, and we're going to go all out. If we're selling to women in their 40s, we're going to be on Pinterest.
Yeah.
YouTube videos. We have a YouTube series now, a video series that we actually host. We do marketing. It's really all over the map. So we have everyone that's kind of has their own specialty. We have a full-time guy for video. We have a full-time, social person, and then we have a full-time person that runs social media ads, and everyone's kind of got their space that they own, and that's helped us really with taking on different sizes of clients and different clients when they know that, okay, I can get my video done through you guys, so I can also design the website, and we have like software partners like, oh, we can design the software as well. It's like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Why 3 offices?
You know what? It just kind of it was a product of one. My co-founder had fallen in love with a lady in Vancouver, so he's moving back and moving to Vancouver. So we have a partner office here that we use with them. And then Toronto was where I went to school, where the company was founded, and we got a big account. And it was in Miami, Florida, and I was flying back and forth, living in a hotel room in Miami, coming back, and then eventually I was like, "This is over. Like, we have to service this account. Let's just make an office. Let's get people. Let's get an operation in Florida." And I actually moved down to Florida. So Florida is like the headquarters now, and then Toronto too, and then Vancouver is the third where we work. We rent space out of a partner's office.
And that's around. I saw 6 people on the website, but you probably have more, or?
Yeah, well, we have a couple part-time people that and contractors that we're not putting on the. It's like once it goes into a full-time swing, we'll put them on the site. It's most of our team is in Florida, but we have like one of the guys comes back and forth all the time. Mike, one of the guys who founded the company, he's down in Florida all the time. And then partners. A lot of times we have like our technical partners, software shops of like 6 to 7 programmers, and they'll build some custom software or app, and then they'll hand it off to us to facilitate the marketing and sometimes product direction and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. You said you want to make companies not boring. Does it mean did you specify a certain niche that you work for, or is it rather broad?
It's pretty broad. I think one of the things that I love is taking industries that when a business owner says, "Oh, we're boring," and the prime example would be like we work with several moving companies, like the trucks, they take your stuff and they're like, "Oh, we're boring. How are we going to make content?" And I was like, "Dude, like nobody cares about, like, everybody hates moving. It sucks. Okay." We're not selling the move. What we're doing is we're selling the happy life on the other side of the move.
Yeah.
We're selling the new home. We're selling the dream of your kids growing up in this place that they're going to. So let's make content about these neighborhoods. Let's talk about the best places to raise children. Let's talk about the best places to retire, and make content that gets people thinking, hey, where is the cheapest place to live for a student? Because that's what they're going to Google.
Yeah.
And that's where we can win. So what we were able to do is, we outline a million questions and say, would I share this online is one of the first questions. Does it provide real value? And if it does, what we want to do then is great. We just put it out there. We no sales, nothing on it. And then we look at the data at the end of the year, and these companies, like specifically, we had one company that bought into content marketing in 2012. Like they just said, let's do it. They see 30% increase year over year in leads. Their traffic, like this is small business websites that are getting 15, 20,000 unique visitors a month. It's just, from where they came from, it's absolutely mind blowing, but very cool too, to see that if you answer your customers' questions online and give them value and do it in an entertaining way, if if you have some skilled copywriters, you're going to see people share that content. You're going to see people engage with the website and come back. And then when it comes time for them to make a decision to purchase, you're going to be considered.
Yeah. I see how you're smiling. This is really your thing, right?
I love it because it's just like once it works, and then you can go back and you can like, look, here's how it worked for like boring companies, and then if somebody's got something fun, like sports equipment or something, then we're off to the races. That's easy. Let's go.
That means that as you produce these results, is it mostly referral based lead generation, or how do you get new businesses?
So this was one of the things. So both referrals are lifeblood. I think the way we've gone through growth has been largely based on referrals, but also selective referrals. So going to our best clients and the clients that we enjoy working with, and trying to, chances are that their friends and people they've worked with in other companies are going to be like them, right? I got told an interview, or I did an interview like 6 months ago for, I forget the website, but essentially it was along the lines of how do you deal with clients that don't pay, and we
Yeah.
pretty much went through how, like, look, you got to cut clients off. You have to be willing, and it's counterintuitive, but like if you have a shitty client,
Yeah.
you gotta fire them, because cutting off that revenue actually gives you more time to double, triple down on your existing clients. You're going to do better work. You're going to get referrals. That being said, that's one facet of it.
Yeah.
Lately, our growth now, because our growth now has been all through external lead generation, and what we saw as the biggest opportunity, hands down, we went and looked at probably 40, I want to say, agencies. And we realized that marketing agencies do a really, really, really crappy job of marketing themselves. So they sell social media stuff. They don't update their social media pages.
Why is that?
Because the clients pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
So you have an hourly rate or a retainer with the client. So that's where your attention's going to go, and your own stuff's going to forget. So what we made a decision of 2 years ago, we said, look, if we're selling this stuff, we better believe it ourselves. So we set up ourselves as an actual internal client, and we have set hour minimums we have to hit for our own content, for our own website, our own SEO. We also said, look, we have some pretty good tools where we're not afraid to be on camera. Let's make a video series. So we started really taking this, how do we market ourselves? One of the biggest drivers for us has been, well, I'm going to break it into 3 things, I think. One, we went out and we'll write blog posts. We'll spend 10, 15 hours writing a blog post, and we'll try to get it posted on major publications.
Yeah.
Adweek, Social Media Examiner, Social Media Today. And we actually, it's not a salesy post. We're trying to actually give value to these websites. And
Like case studies and
no, like just like here's, here are 10 predictions for social media in 2017, and we'll go put it on Social Media Examiner.
Yeah.
And that way they're going to post it. It's great content for them. And then we'll get that link, even if it's and I don't care about if a lot of times people at SEOs get like, oh, guest blogging doesn't work. Guest blogging doesn't work if your writing's shitty. If your writing's good, and if you have, I don't care about the link if it's do follow or no follow through, because if people read the content and they like what you have to say, they're going to click. So like we have one piece of content, I think it generated 20 leads for us last year, because it's posted on some other website. It's a good piece. People went through and they said, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. So we do that. Now, me and another guy, specifically Justin, we go out and we contribute around the web. So if you search my name and like type in news, you're going to see us mentioned on news websites of us, like, just continually contributing. And then for years now, we've been contributing. This has helped us tremendously. 2, we're extremely active on our own social profiles, and we're not just solely doing marketing stuff. We're trying to do interesting things. This has been something where when people are looking to hire us, they go and they'll check out our site and be like, okay, these guys they're actually living and breathing what they're talking about. They're being creative. And then
I'm seeing the YouTube channel right now. It's really well done.
Right. And we started this and then I think on the YouTube channel, one of the things that I get this question all the time, and this would be the third facet of it, is this past year, we really broke into public speaking and the YouTube channel, and made a commitment to, 1, making video, but then 2, also giving speeches. So I flew all throughout North America, and I applied to every single conference I could. I probably applied to 60 conferences to speak last year, and I got like 7. You know what I mean? Like it sucks. It's hard, but getting up on stage in front of 300 marketing directors and being able to be like, guys, here are my thoughts on where social media is going. It's like lead generation on steroids. That's been a huge thing. And a lot of these opportunities too, it's funny because like one of the biggest speeches we got was somebody watched a video. And if you go to that video right now, it has like 61 views. And I can be like, oh, 61, that's small. You never know who's watching.
Could be a huge account.
And it led to a giant opportunity for us. So I think if it's a combination of outreach, blogging, internal content creation,
Yeah.
and then three, going out and really, really just kind of like doing the stuff that nobody wants to do, like going and speaking for free at like
Yeah.
seven
Yeah.
conferences and wasting or not wasting, but like spending a lot of time in random obscure places.
I guess you don't do any outbound marketing, outbound sales.
No, no, one of the things we found is our product's so expensive, right? Like we're looking at a product of when you're looking at retaining marketing services, at least with us, I mean, it's thousands of dollars per month. And it's really, really hard to go and like our outbound sales are the public speaking at conferences. I would say that's our biggest
Mm-hmm.
but it's still not even really. We don't have a booth. I never do that. I get up on stage, I talk, and then afterwards I go and try to meet everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And um, but yeah, in terms of like a traditional sales effort, with our product, people have to like us and trust us and know us a little bit before they're going to make a purchase. That it's not because it's not like whatever. Let's say it's $3,000, right? Our goal isn't to make $3,000. Our goal is to help their business and to do it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And then that lifetime value is going to be much higher. So
Yeah.
if we have to spend a couple thousand to go to a conference, to fly there, hotel, just to speak, if we get one account out of it, that's going to pay itself off in 2, 3 months.
Yeah.
Never mind the referrals that come from acquiring these. One other thing we do use, and I recommend every agency get on it, is called agencyspotter.com.
Uh-huh.
It's a directory for agencies. We're on there. I know the guys who started it. It was funny. I tried out the free part, and the free plan was, good. And then now we're actually on the paid plan as well, and that's driven some leads as well. But Adam and his team over there, they're stand-up people, and they do good stuff.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, didn't know about that page. So you don't do outbound because you don't need it, right? That's the thing.
I think two things. I think one, I don't have. I'll be honest. We don't know, on it. We're talking about like for lead generation internally, right?
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, for us, it's just like the best bang for your buck is going to be with us doing we do ads online. You know what I mean? We'll do social ads targeted at, people who work for a certain company that we're trying to get in touch with. But in terms of traditional, mail, phone calls, all cold calling, that kind of stuff, we don't do cold emails, none of this. No. And it's just, I don't know. It's, I think it's one part that we don't really know that space. Two, we see that if we put our efforts into the stuff that we can do for businesses, then the proof's kind of in the pudding when we acquire them.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, you said something right now. You said you're targeting with ads companies that you want to reach. Do you have some companies on your radar, or do you have a list of companies you would like to work with? Or it looks like you have some kind of systematic approach there.
So what we'll do, we'll identify a company that we think is in the sweet spot. So we have a defined sweet spot of a company that we want to work with. And because look, I would love to work with Pepsi, but I'm also realistic, right? We're 6 people. We can't take a Pepsi today. That's just, that's a 20 years, 10 years down the road thing.
Yeah.
But we can take a company that maybe has 700, 800 employees. And so we'll say, okay, we identify them. We look at their marketing effort, and we look for people who you can tell that they've had agencies in the past, or that they're just missing guidance. So once we identify this company, we'll be like, okay, let's make an ad targeted at people who work for this company, and tell them are you guys on social media? Do you need help? And what's going to happen is those people are actually then going to take, when they see the ad, I might not get it in front of the CMO, but I don't give a shit, because it's going to get in front of somebody who knows the CMO. So if 5 or 10 employees then see this video or this contact us, and then they share it up to the CMO is going to go, who are these guys? We need to pay attention. So It's a little bit crafty, but it takes a little time. But you make it's micro, like you're making individual ad
Yeah,
messages for
it's LinkedIn, I guess.
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Oh, so people who like that company, or in Facebook,
You can
can you say who works
you
at the company?
yeah, you can
Okay.
go employed at.
Okay. So are you doing this, or do you have a person doing this for you?
Uh, I, I work with the guys. We all put it together.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
How do you get the list of the companies?
that takes a little bit of research. That's one of the things where you got to go through like what can we help the most. So we look at like,
Oh,
you know, we can help people in the software space that are looking to acquire users that are this
yeah,
big. And so we have our own internal criteria that we set up based on our expertise and past clients. Because that's the other thing. We get in touch with them, they're going to be like, "Who have you worked with before?"
yeah.
So we could be like, "Oh, we've worked with XYZ company who's also in the space, but is not a competitor or whatever." It gives a little bit more credibility.
Okay, can you tell me what the criteria is, or is it something you like to keep internal?
It changed. Like, I mean, for us, there's probably about 10 sets. Um, like I said, we're looking for like we look at people. I'll give you like probably between 500 to 1,000 employees
Mm.
that have some digital presence, but not a complete digital presence. Because I'm not in the business of going and trying to tell someone if they don't have a Facebook page now, like they're not going to get one. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? We want people who you can tell that they're trying, but they have inconsistent messaging, inconsistent posting frequency.
yeah,
Like what they've done is they're a big company, but then they've made their secretary do the social,
mm.
right? And so you can tell, and it's like, okay, no, like this is important. Let's take it over. So
Yeah,
we just honestly, we look for decent sized companies that are doing a bad job,
yeah,
and then but you can tell that they believe in it or know that they need to be on it.
mm.
um, and it's just kind of whenever we see a company we go through, we just add it to the radar. So I might search like real estate brokerages throughout the state of Florida and be
Yeah,
like, okay, then I look and it takes a couple hours, right? Like then okay, which ones have enough team members, because the team member size in that industry is going to dictate their budget and if they're going to have budget to even bring us on. Because the
that makes
classic thing
sense.
we get, and I'm sure like we had to put a budget range on our contact form because
Yeah,
we
I
had
saw it.
so because we had, and the only reason we did that is because we had so many people like, I want social media, I want blogging, I want this, I want that. I get on the phone with them, bam, 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 bam. They're like, oh, I can only spend $300 a month or $200 a month, and I'm like, well, like
That call just cost that much.
yeah, right. Like we can't like now it was just a way for us. Like, look, I don't want to be dismissive of anybody,
Yeah,
but I also want to make sure that we have realistic expectations and we keep things like our time. Our time is sacred because we got to make sure that we can spend it. And that's been the hardest part is so many people want all this stuff and then you know, they don't realize the cost. When you're
uh,
like, no, that costs money to have a marketing agency, right? So that company size really helps us get in
right.
line with people who've um, who've paid agencies before. Because someone who's paid an agency before is willing to pay another
Yeah,
agency, right?
hopefully.
Um,
If
yeah, well, they might have had a bad experience too, right? So that's
yeah.
but
So you keep a huge spreadsheet of all the companies you're monitoring, and then how do you do this? Every month, every quarter, someone of your team goes through it and checks if they kind of had problems, or
so we have a CRM that we use.
which one?
So we use a very light CRM called Capsule.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I've heard of it.
yeah,
See.
and we'll set up some like internal notes, messaging frequency, uh, and it's not crazy, man. It's like
Mm.
we set it up like, all right, I put whatever, let's call it Luigi's Pizza, right? Okay, we want to get these Luigi's Pizza. They
Yeah,
have like 5 stores. They're a growing company. This is a good company for us to kind of get in line with. Okay, great. We put them in there, and I just set a reminder like if we've had contact or we set out the ads. Okay, great. We had contact, but they're sorting out their budget. They're not ready to meet until 17.
yeah,
Okay, so I just set a little reminder. Hey, contact Luigi's Pizza 3 months from now,
okay,
and then I just add the notes of what
yeah,
happened. I mean, it's a very, very basic sales effort in that sense of like a traditional, we have the CRM, but there's no like automation or anything like that.
mm. Got it. Yeah, it's like a CRM work. Yeah, makes sense. But interesting to me because it's part of the thing we want to find out in the next months. Because we kind of also have, we build a small monitoring service that basically checks websites, how often they post. The theory is that once someone, let's say they publish every week and then suddenly they stop. So they either lost the agency or they're not satisfied anymore or the secretary is gone,
Right.
who was writing, right? So that's something we want to try out if that's possible for lead generation. Basically use companies that dropped out, put them into a list and then cold email them. Yeah, so that's just my personal interest. So I think what you're doing is pretty interesting there. So yeah. Yeah, thanks for laying out that strategy. That's cool. I haven't seen anyone doing that sophisticated with the ads and everything.
Yeah, it's helped. We look at ads that work on us. Anytime something works on me, I'm like, okay, that was good. Like, how do we do that?
Yeah. What is your well, just one of the last questions. What do you need to get to the next level with your business? Where do you see yourself struggling with?
You know, I think this is one of the things that I think agency owners and every entrepreneur goes through is we want to grow so fast, right? But we're still so new. So I've been talking with our teammates a lot and other businesses, and I say this all the time, is you have to be equally as patient as you are impatient. So like, it's patiently impatient. Like we are so impatient with regards to like, we're hungry, we want to grow, we're doing our day to day, we're trying to do amazing work and do it efficiently. But on the backside of that, like building a client service business takes time. So we also have to be, hey, we're growing 28% every year. Okay, that's very good. That's healthy. Let's just be patient, right? Of course, I want to be 500 employees and have Nike, but to be like, okay, I'm 28, like let's just be patient and this will go. So I think for us to get to the next level, it's just be continually learning and just honestly, if we can commit to making the best stuff possible for our people, for our clients, and sticking with marketing ourselves, we're going to go to the next level. It has happened already, right? Because the thing about the agency business is your next client, like if you're going and you get to that next echelon of clients, and that next client can be like a business changer where suddenly it's, if you're a small agency and you sign something that's now, you can grow 30, 40% overnight in this business. So for us, it's like we got just knowing that we're on the right path. And, as those accounts come in, I think that's what it is. I think the hardest thing about it is if you do sign one of those, like staffing up for it, in a short period. So having some people you trust, bringing them in earlier than maybe you need them. But yeah, I think just, man, being patiently impatient. That's the way I look at it.
I like that. What is the question that people don't ask you that they should? That's my last question.
People don't prospective clients.
When you get interviewed or when you're on stage or when someone like you as an agency owner, what is something that you would like to get asked that people don't look over, let's say?
Why is this all important? Like, I'd love somebody to say, why? Because at the end of the day, marketers get a bad rap. I think marketers, they spam people. They're annoying. I think they do all these things that can really, really hurt the industry. But marketing is important because, to me, it connects people with, it allows you to fall in love with companies and have emotional, to actually feel emotional about companies that you go with. There's a reason, when I go to the store, that I pick Coca-Cola over Pepsi. You know what I mean? And there's because they found a way to infiltrate my mind, and they've never ever ran a cost per click ad saying buy Coca-Cola or pull over at 7-Eleven and get a Coke, right? They've just put the ad up on the side of the highway, and I've seen it so many times where we get people And this kind of piggybacks on it, but we get people all the time like, what's the ROI of digital marketing? And I get like, I swear on stage, and I'm like, what's the ROI of the banner ad you ran? Like of the banner on the bus you had, like the bus bench ad? What's the ROI of the plane going up and down the beach with the Geico thing behind it? Like, tell me the ROI of that. Tell me the ROI of magazine. Like, it's never been more measurable, but people have never been more scared and more like, I don't know, like critical of it. And it's one of these things where I think that if you truly want to, if you truly want to like make a difference and with marketing, you have to find a way to make people fall in love with your company. And usually that starts with caring about people and making stuff and making content that is customer first and for your business second, right?
I like that. That's, I think, the true words from someone who knows marketing. Care about the audience first. I like it.
Yeah.
Great.
And then so you're posting these, right? I'm guessing, or are you recording them and then?
So this is half an hour now. I don't know if someone wants to watch a half an hour video on YouTube. Maybe I put it full length on YouTube, but only if people really request it a lot of times. I would just want to bundle these full interviews, and if some other interviewee want to see them, they can look into it. Then what I would do, I would make a short one on YouTube, which basically, maybe I take that strategy that you took and explain it a bit and put it on YouTube. Of course, I would link up everything that like to you, so that basically like a small story. Yeah, that's mostly it. I've started, I think it's my third interview now, so I don't have so much experience about this right now. Is there something you think I should do with the content, or I should not do with the content? Something I need to know?
All I would say is like, it doesn't hurt to put the whole thing up, right, for people, because if one person wants to watch it all, it's worth it.
All right.
It takes, and that's the only thing. Because if you have some interview and somebody says something useful, and then that user on the other end is like, oh, I want to hear more of that. Yeah. That's all I'd say. Plus, if you put it up and you share it, every single person you interviewed is going to share it themselves, right? So it's going to drive you exposure. So that's where I would probably go. And then I'd also make the clips too, right? Like if you can make the highlights, or here I interviewed. You could write a blog post, right? I interviewed 20 agency owners. Here's the best, like the definitive way to generate leads.
Yeah.
And
that's a good idea. I certainly do that, I think.
Nice.
That's awesome, right, man. Great to have talked to you. Thanks for your time, and I will send you an email right now.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Have a good one, man.
Have a great holidays. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.